For we have not been given the spirit of fear, but of love, power, and of a sound mind. So, one of the main reasons that I went on this fast is because I said it earlier, but I really struggled a lot with anxiety and fear. So, to be more specific, I felt like I was in a constant cycle of fear and a constant cycle of anxiety. So, for example, if there was something that I was assigned at work, and let's just say I didn't feel confident that I had the skill set or the experience or a strong understanding to complete what was being asked of me, I would have a lot of fear and anxiety leading up to it. And my fears would cause my imagination to go wild. So I would imagine myself being given a task, not being able to complete the task, being written up because I couldn't complete the task, being seen as incompetent, it leading to me being fired, and then I couldn't, and then if I got let go, I would imagine like, okay, well, what would happen if I can't find another job fast enough and then my bills and stuff stack up. Just that's an example. Or if I had to have a hard conversation with someone, what are they going to think? What if it ruins the relationship? What if we get into a bad argument? What if they misunderstand me? What if it becomes something that we can't recover from? That was another fear. What else would be a fear? Just everything that was unknown, anything where I didn't know the outcome. Leading up to the fast, I had different business meetings that I had to fulfill. And going into the meeting, I would think, well, what if I don't say the right thing? What if I blow the deal? What if they decide not to go with me? I mean, it was just nonstop, right? And I was just sick and tired of having all of these what ifs, and seeing a negative outcome potentially, and not being able to pull myself out of that cycle, that downward spiral of thinking as quickly as I would like. So going in a fast, that was a really big thing for me. I'm like, God, please, I'm sick of constantly being triggered, constantly being sent into a state of being anxious, constantly being sent into a state of being afraid of the outcome of something. And I just don't want to live that way. So the verse that we are often given to comfort us is 2 Timothy 1:7, right? Which is, for God has not given us a spirit of fear, but of love, power, and a sound mind. Now, if I'm being totally honest with you, that verse a lot of times just did not give me comfort. And the reason it didn't give me comfort is because it just didn't make any sense to me. And when I say it didn't make sense, I mean I kind of got it, but I just couldn't get the translation of how is love going to make me not afraid of not knowing how to do something at work. You know what I mean? Or yes, God, I'm appreciative and I know that you love me, but how is love, right, going to make me not afraid of a tough conversation that I have to have someone? Like, how is love going to change the outcome of that? So, the like I would hear it and I kind of would try to understand it in a way that would take away the anxiety, but it just wasn't working for me until the fast. So during the fast, I revisited and I prayed about it. And one thing that I do is I ask God, like, God, please reveal to me what this means. I don't want to I don't want to process this based on something that I heard before. I don't want to process this based on something that I think. Like, I just want you to tell me what this means. And during the fast, oh my God, I'm so excited to share with you guys what God revealed to me about the verse. So the verse again is 2 Timothy 1:7. It says, for we have not, or for you have not been given the spirit of fear, but of love, power, and a sound mind. So I'm going to break down each one the way God revealed it to me. So you have not been given a spirit of fear, but of love. God talked to me and said, love, stay right here, sit on love. What is love? Well, God is love. So if I replace the word love with God and I reread that verse, it says, For you have not been given the spirit of fear, but the spirit of God. That's powerful. So then I started to dig deeper. God began to peel back the layers. And because when I hear love initially, when I heard love initially, it was like, okay, love is like this feeling that you get when you know someone loves you. It's this warm, fuzzy feeling inside. It's knowing that someone cares about you and that stuff. But I think I was focused more on the feeling and the emotion of love and not the action of love. And when God was revealing to me that God is love, he showed me, revealed to me that what the verse is saying is, you have not been given the spirit of fear, but the spirit of me. And I am the one who loves you so much that I died on the cross for you because I didn't want you to die. I'm the one who loves you so much that I went ahead of you and made sure that all things work together for your good. I'm the one who loves you so much that I make sure that your enemies are your footstool. I'm the one who loves you so much. I make sure that no weapon formed against you shall prosper. So when it's saying you have not been given the spirit of fear, but the spirit of me, it's saying you have been given the spirit of the one who is going to make sure no matter what that you come out okay, that you are protected, that you are loved, that you bounce back, that no matter how the job situation works out, even if you do get fired, even if you are let go, you have to remember who loves you and what my love compels me to do for you. My love compels me to take care of you no matter what the outcome of situations may be. My love compels me to make sure that you're taken care of, whether you have a job or you don't have a job. My love compels me and moves me to take care of you. Whether the person understands you or they don't understand you, whether they're going to be for you or against you, my love for you, Shalomith, is going to make sure that you're okay. And that was the first time for me that that verse actually made me feel absent of fear and absent of anxiety. And when I got it, it was like a weight lifted off my shoulders. And I started replaying all of the things that I was afraid of. And I just started seeing the stuff work out in an awesome way. I just started seeing it be good no matter how it folded, and it took away the pressure for it to come out a certain way. So, to be specific, after God revealed that to me, if I'm given something at work that I don't know, that I don't understand, it doesn't matter if they see me as being incompetent. It doesn't matter if they see me as being qualified or not qualified. It doesn't matter if I'm let go or if I stay, because no matter what the outcome is, the one who loves me, right? God loves me so much that I'm going to be good no matter how it turns out. The tough conversations, whether the person understands or not, like whether the friendship or the relationship sustains or not, my relationship life, right? Or the relationships in my life are going to be good no matter what, because the one who loves me intervenes. And that made so much sense to me. So, for we have not been given the spirit of fear, but the spirit of love, or in other words, the spirit of God, power. And then moving into power, it's like, man, that's very strong. And what God revealed to me is that you may feel fearful, but you have the power to overcome the fear and do it anyway. You may feel anxious sometimes, but you have the spirit of power within you to overcome your anxiety and do it anyway. It may be tough for me to have a hard conversations with someone, but I have been given the power to have that conversation anyway. And that was really, really big for me, because it's saying you have been given the spirit of power. It doesn't mean that I'm not going to be anxious sometimes. It doesn't mean that I'm not going to feel intimidated sometimes, right? But I have the spirit of power to overcome not just external situations, but I have the power to overcome myself, my own internal struggles. I have the power to overcome what I struggle with. And that just, man, when I tell you, when that just really broke me free. And then, so you have not been given a spirit of fear, but of love, power, and a sound mind. And That just makes total sense to me because if I'm operating in love, if I'm operating in the fact that God makes everything work together for my good, God is very present. He loves me. The most powerful God in the universe, the only God of the universe, loves me. But not only does he loves me, he's working everything out for me. And not only that, he has given me the power to operate in the power and the freedom and the victory that he has given me. A sound mind happens by default. It's only natural that I'm going to have a sound mind because I'm not worrying. And when I'm not worrying, I can think clearly. When I'm not worrying, my imagination is not going crazy and imagining stuff that probably would never happen anyway. My mind is not magnifying situations and making my giants bigger than what they are. A sound mind. So that was really, really just, man, it was so groundbreaking for me. It was so freeing for me. And honestly, it's so crazy because typically at work, I am extremely sleepy. Like my best friend makes fun of me all the time because I'm always calling and falling asleep. But what I noticed after this revelation, a lot of it was stress induced. And it was just my stress response. Because after this revelation and I went to work the next day, I didn't even sleep that much the night before and I was wide awake. And I did such a better job at work when I wasn't worried about what I could figure out, what I couldn't figure out. It's just amazing how much more efficiently we operate when fear is not paralyzing us. Because fear was definitely paralyzing me. It was shutting my mind down. It was releasing all types of chemicals and hormones that was not allowing me to operate at my best self. When going into work for me, and having the mindset of if I get it, I get it. If I don't, I don't. I figured out so much more. My problem solving went from probably like a 5, so I would say like a 9 or a 10 because I was free to explore. I was free to try. I was free to fail. I was free to try something. And it wasn't this necessity that whatever I tried had to turn out perfect. I didn't care about what other people thought. So it freed me to ask questions. It freed me to get help. Because a lot of times I would not want to ask questions or I wouldn't want to ask help because I didn't want to seem like I didn't know. And the reason I did not want to seem as if I didn't know, it really wasn't a pride thing for me as much as it was a fear thing for me that the outcome would be that they would let me go. After the fear was gone and I knew for sure, it was revealed to me that I was going to be ready, that I was going to be taken care of either way. I was so free just to reach out and ask for help and not care about whether or not they cared about whether or not they thought I should know it or shouldn't know it. It's freeing to operate fearlessly. It's very freeing. I was able to try things and not care if the stuff broke, right? Because it was like, I'm gonna try this out, and if it breaks, God's gonna give me the grace to fix it. I just operated in a totally different space, and it allowed me to not dread getting up in the morning. Now I don't dread getting up in the morning. I don't dread logging on when I'm faced with something that's an opportunity to learn something new. It's truly an opportunity to learn something new, and it's not a trigger that sends me into a place of anxiety. And one more verse that I want to share is First John 4:18. It says, "There is no fear in love." This is another one that never made sense to me until the fast. But it says, "There is no fear in love, but perfect love casts out fear, because fear has torment. He that fears is not made perfect in love." That was always confusing to me. But then, in light of the revelation that God gave me about Second Timothy, I was like, oh, that makes sense, right? Because there is no fear in love. Remember, God is love. So, what that's saying is there is no fear in God. Because how can there be fear in God? How can there be fear holding the hand of the one who's all powerful? But not only is God all powerful, I'm conscious of the fact that He's working, has already worked everything out for my good. There's no fear in that. There's no fear in knowing that no matter how this turns out, I'm good. Fear and that belief does not coexist. But perfect love casts out fear. And it says, because fear has torment. And that is exactly how I was feeling. I was constantly feeling tormented. And then the verse goes on to say, he that fears is not made perfect in love. And what that means is a person who fears is not made perfect. The word perfect is not saying like perfect as in flawless, but what it's saying is that person has not received the solid understanding of love. They have not perfected in their mind or have a strong understanding in their mind what love is, right? So there's still, I was still shaky and what love actually meant, the definition of love and how it translated into action for God towards me was not perfected in me. Or in other words, it wasn't something that I mastered in understanding or had a strong understanding of. And that's why I was still operating in fear, because understanding what love is and how love moves God on my behalf was not solidified inside of me. So for me, I would switch out the word perfected and insert the word solidified. So the person who fears has not been solidified in love, right? Because when you're solid in love, and when I'm solid in the fact that God loves me, and I'm solid in the fact that his love has already made my enemies my footstool, and I'm solid in the fact that his love has already worked everything out and everything works together for my good. When I'm solid in that, there is no fear. And that perfect understanding, that perfect alignment with the truth of the fact that God is love is what alleviated me from fear. So I hope that was helpful. I hope that what God revealed to me and me sharing it helps you. I pray that that you receive this, that you receive what love is. Remember that God is love, and just stay in a place of always remembering that God is active. Love is active, right? And love is the reason God died for us. Love is the reason all things work together for our good. Love is the reason our enemies are a footstool. Love. And go forward in the day knowing that love is the reason there's no reason to fear, because of what love compels God and has compelled God to do on our behalf. So I love you so much. And that is lesson 4 from my 90-day fast. For we have not been given the spirit of fear, but of love, power, and a sound mind. And I cannot wait to share lesson number 5 with you. And until I see you again on next Tuesday, be blessed. Love you.